Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. If your adult child has distanced himself from you and possibly other family members and friends, you might be tempted to think of this as a problem that belongs to him. After all, he's the one who created the estrangement by refusing contact. So doesn't he, in some sense, own what's happening? Well, that does make sense on the face of it. But unfortunately, it isn't a very effective mindset for rejected parents who want to reconnect with an estranged adult child. Because if the estrangement is a problem that belongs to your adult child, then only she can solve it. And what's worse, she can either try to solve it or not. It's entirely up to her. All you can do is cross your fingers and hope for the best. But if it bothers you at all to be separated from your child like this, then it's not just your child's problem, it's yours too. It's just like if a family of mice decided to move in with you, whether you wanted them to or not. If they're successful, then you are the one who suddenly has a problem, even though it was the mice who created the situation. Assuming ownership of a problem that you didn't want and didn't create is effective because taking ownership of any problem means that you are not powerless. Once you own a problem in your own mind, your brain approaches it differently. You start to become more creative and you tend to be more proactive. Taking ownership of a problem is not the same as taking blame. The two are not related. I'm using the word ownership simply to mean acknowledging that estrangement is a problem in your life, and therefore you are in a position to seek or create solutions. If you've been feeling powerless, frustrated, and even hopeless at times, those feelings can be subtle clues that it's time to take ownership of the problem. If you've been viewing the estrangement as belonging to your child, then you may not even realize the truth of this. You've been thinking of him as the expert on how to fix it. But the truth is, if your child could solve the problem, he wouldn't be estranged. Your child doesn't know how to fix the problem that underlies his estrangement. He's relying on you, the senior adult in the relationship, to figure it out, to take charge of the situation by owning the problem. Now, please remember, if your child is a young adult or recently launched, this might not be the right time to come back together. A temporary separation may be the right solution for your relationship in the immediate future. But let's say there's more to the estrangement than a developmental need for independence. Let's say your child estranged herself for cause, meaning she had some problem with the relationship, and that's why she retreated. If you don't make the mental shift toward owning the problem yourself, you're in danger of getting stuck relying on your child to fix things when, in reality, she has no plan for how to do that. Right now, it may be the case that neither of you has a plan. So make a plan. Take ownership and then take action. That doesn't necessarily mean that you reach out to your child repeatedly. In fact, contact is not usually the best solution, as evidenced by the fact that if you've tried that, it hasn't worked so far. There are many other ways for parents to be proactive and take action during estrangement. The best action you can take may be to immediately attend to your own emotional healing, personal growth, and if necessary, education. By education, I mean becoming more knowledgeable about issues that are part of your family history. These may include trauma, emotional abuse, addiction, blended families, triangulation, the highly sensitive person phenomenon, sibling rivalry, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, conflict, adoption, etc. All of these could affect your relationship with your child, not to mention your own emotional health and well-being, in ways that are often not visible until you take the time and attention to consciously examine them. We have resources in the Reconnection Club library that address many of these topics. Just log in at reconnectionclub.com and go to the library to peruse that content. By making the small mental shift toward owning the problem, you'll be motivated to take thoughtful, meaningful actions instead of flailing about ineffectively and digging yourself into a hole of despair. Taking ownership will help you reclaim your power in the relationship, regardless of your child's behavior. There's always something proactive you can be doing to heal your relationship, and a lot of it can be done without your child's participation or even his knowledge. But you won't do anything as long as you're waiting for your child to solve his problem. So make the small mental adjustment of taking ownership of the problem to create big, positive, long-term changes in your relationship. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.